What is up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Between Two Posts. It's episode 39. My name is Everett. I'm alongside Kyle and Everett, and we're just here for the ride. Kyle, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing great, but I did just hear you're alongside Kyle and Everett, and you are Everett.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
It's
So
Kyle. It's Kyle, Everett, and Evan. We're all
Evan is
here.
here. Yep.
We're here. Evan
Yeah.
Moyes,
Get the first
Moiser
two
in town.
letters. As long as you get the first two letters right, that's all that matters.
I mean, we could
Yeah.
just be the same guy at the end of the day. Just a couple of Evs hanging out.
That's true.
Do you ever
Yeah.
get the Ev? Do you get Ev ever? No.
Every now and then, my dad will call me that, and I
Hmm.
mean, like every now and then, I'll get someone call me that. But the only person that consistently will call me that is my dad.
Okay. So anyways, Kyle, thank you for pointing out my stupidity. Kyle, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Just
Are you
another-
lying?
No,
Uh,
I feel good.
Oh, I felt like you're a little swamped, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm swamped, but I don't know. The days just kind of blend together now. So, it's just another good day to be here. Excited to switch things up a little bit, hop on the pod. My brain's just obviously a little out to lunch probably like every day, but the focus is I think like just everything running through my brain is just like designs and stuff. So there's not like a ton of processing that's going through in terms of what comes out of my mouth.
Just let it fly, man. No firewalls.
Yeah.
My brain's like just all that's up there is like the monkey banging the cymbals together, or like all the cartoons.
Oh man. Evan, how are you doing today?
So much better than the last time we spoke. So much better.
Yeah.
At a big wedding. I literally last week was probably the worst week of the summer. I could have got sick because I had my girlfriend's sister got married, and it took a lot out of me. And then obviously you got a wedding, which when it's like your significant other's sister and like they're in the wedding, it's not just like the 1 day shot like a normal wedding. It turns into like a 3 or 4 day excursion, which I didn't mind. Like I actually really enjoyed myself at everything we did. But it was, there's rehearsal dinner, the wedding, which is like a all day thing. And then you have the day after, it's like there's like a little family get together. So it wasn't just a 1 day thing. So I kind of had to budget my time with work and everything like that, but got everything done and had a really good time and couldn't ask for anything more. My stomach is finally back to holding food, so it's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Hey, what a tough spot it is to be the significant other of someone in the wedding party and you're not in it. So you're just on your own for for like you said, a solid like 5 days.
Oh, it was. It wasn't actually that bad. Her family is like unbelievable. Her dad is one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life, and just like her family is really legit. But it was cool too because the guy her sister married, he's a Navy pilot now, but he went to Ohio State, and all his friends that were at the wedding and in the wedding were also like Navy pilots, but they all did ROTC at Ohio State together. So like I didn't actually know them, but I crossed paths with them and I had a lot in common with them. So I was able to like have some pretty good and like genuine conversations and stuff like that. So when they, that was like the big thing was it was like an hour and a half obviously the ceremony goes, then there's an hour and a half that like where it's all the families, all the bridesmaids and groomsmen and bride and groom and everyone else is taking pictures, and it seems like forever. Like that was like the part of the night I was most dreading, and it ended up not being that bad because it's pretty cool people to talk to. And I will say, like her family is pretty lights out, where like they make me feel pretty included. the entire time where I was.
Evan, they're never gonna hear this, so you don't gotta pump their tires that hard.
Oh no, I'm being genuine. I mean, you know that about me. I'd be honest. I'm being genuine, but no.
Evan's just Mr. Nice Guy. Like even on the pod, every time two people start talking, he's like, "Oh no, you go, you go."
I just get out of the way. I got the least GPs here. I'm just trying to get out of the way.
He's just the Midwesterner. It's like, I don't know. After you, sir. Evan, correction. It is the Ohio State University. So just
Hey,
figure
thank
that
you.
out, buddy.
Thank you. Yeah, we got the trademark on it, so we might as well use
Yeah.
it.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Uh,
Ev, what's new with you?
that's embarrassing though, the whole day thing. Man, you know what? Every NHL team's calling me this week, and like I couldn't. If I didn't cut my hair, I'd probably pull it out. Went to the Renaissance Festival this weekend in Holly, Michigan, which I think Kevin, Kyle, you guys would have or Evan. Wow, holy
Having a
Kevin.
tough time.
Kevin.
Tough time.
Kyle, Evan, Kevin. You guys would have a blast at that. It's definitely a sight to behold. It's either like people that are very committed to like dressing up and like fitting the part while it's 90 degrees and like I can feel the sweat rolling down my back, but they're dressed up in like layers and layers and like I don't know if you guys know what it's called. It's the Black Plague mask where it's like it looks like a bird's
Yeah.
face and it's got the really long.
Yeah.
There's guys wearing those out in all black with a black hat on. I'm like, bro, you're so committed. Like I give you a lot, but like that's hot. And then there's other people that it's just like there's just some mutants rolling around there and like really interesting people. But
Yeah.
no, that's about it. You know what? Fired up the new set,
And
got the mask painted by New Jacks, podcast sponsored by New Jacks. Shout out to New Jacks, painted my mask, put that on with the pants. Got a
yeah,
sick
book
pic.
your mask for like November now.
Yeah.
If you want your mask painted before Christmas, book it now because
Yeah, so that's where New Jacks is at. And then yeah, you know, that's pretty much it. I don't know.
and you had a special guest today in the factory.
Oh, the man himself, the legendary Jake Zamek of the Oakland University American
Fighting Grizzlies.
the Fighting Grizzlies, but I don't know what ACHA stands for after all these years. Is it
American Collegiate Hockey Association.
Yeah. I guess you could call yourself alum there. Yeah, so Zomer came by. No shade to Zomer, but I didn't like I'm a small guy, and most of the time when I meet goalies, I'm always kind of looking up. Like Evan, you're what, like 5'11", 6 foot?
Me?
Yeah.
6'2".
Okay, so excuse me,
Yeah,
6'2".
Yeah, you're 5'11", same thing.
Pardon my language. But everyone I meet like just inherently is taller than me. But when Jake came in and I kind of like I had like a downward tilt on it, I was like, man, I feel like I'm a monster today. I couldn't feel taller. It was incredible. But Zomer's a great kid, very polite, very humble kid, nice guy, good guy to hang around, and showed him around the factory, and then he had to scoot on over to class. So sucks for him. But yeah,
I was gonna say, I think you can. Oh, you go.
Thank you. So you know how you just talked about those Black Plague masks?
yeah.
There's this show on Netflix, and it made me think of them. I'm sorry. This is like my ADD brain just kicking in.
No, like get it rolling.
There's a show on Netflix. It's called The Devil in Ohio, and it was like I just finished it up probably like 2 or 3 days ago. It was actually I thought it was pretty good, but like it's like a 7-episode, like each episode's 45 or an hour or whatever, and it was like it all messes with your brain, and then the last 30 seconds of it messes with your brain more than any other part of it. I'm not going to spoil it because I want you guys to watch it and give me your honest Rotten Tomatoes opinion, but The Devil in Ohio on Netflix. I think it's like 6 or 7 episodes.
Okay, so just for the synopsis for nobody that's seen it, because I have not, Devil in Ohio TV miniseries. When a psychiatrist shelters a mysterious cult escapee, her world is turned upside down as the girl's arrival threatens to tear her own family apart. It has a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. It has
Garbage.
a 45 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 3 out of 5 on something else. But 86% of Google users like this TV show. So at the end of the day, too, like ratings can mean nothing as long as like fans, if the viewer likes it, what does a critic's opinion mean? Okay, like I don't know. So I'll have to give it a watch. I've been looking for something new to watch outside of anime and cartoons like Villalta, but just gotta spice it up and change it up, keep the brain going. Um, you guys got anything else? Oh, Evan, you had your first ad read. How did that go today? Tell the listeners about that. They're gonna get that treat at the beginning of the episode, but I was just curious how that went for you.
I mean, I texted you guys, but took me. I mean, you just hear how I talk. It took me about 6 tries to get through the first sentence of it, and it probably took me another 7 or 8 tries to actually like get through it, and then I finally got through it. And Ev, you even made the comment that I sounded mad in it. I was mad in it.
I could
So
tell you were mad because you were just trying to get this done, and I could hear it in the tone. I'm like, he's so pissed right now.
no, I was literally I had like my phone like 2 inches in front of my face with like my finger following the words to try and like make it work. Because I don't know, the pressure, the heat is on when you're doing one of those. The heat is on because you got to get it right, like all the way through. You can't mess up one word and be like, oh yeah, whatever. You can't. There's no. I don't know how to edit it. I'm not a studio engineer. I have a MacBook and a dream. An Anchor FM. Download the app today.
How many times did you read call to action out loud?
I actually didn't.
Oh,
That
good.
I didn't, because I had my finger on the screen, perusing through it, if you will.
And then at the end, I just hear Kyle, the loudest like end click to end the thing, and I'm like, man, he's so pissed. Oh man. But no, I appreciate you doing that, Evan. I gotta do our ad read after this for one of our fun add-on sponsors. We're very excited to have them on. It's called Easy Crease, and I think that's all I have to say about that right now. But
Ohio company.
huh?
They're a good old Cleveland, Ohio company, very blue collar.
Yeah, you want to talk about grit, some jam, like Easy Crease has it. So you guys got anything else? We can wrap this up, move it on.
Yeah, send it over to the surfer himself, the California. I mean, he talk about like fully embracing where you're at in life. Like he just put on LA and the whole California vibe, and he's just
So
soaking it up.
him.
Yeah,
He's mossy, bro.
so mossy.
The Moss Man himself. Everybody, we got a sick episode today with Matty Villalta of the LA Kings system. Matty comes from Kingston, Ontario, and he's an absolute beauty, like the guy said here. Big LA guy, and he keeps it mossy. Definitely keeping it mossy. So we'll pass it over to him, and we'll see you next week. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, get on our Instagram. The Instagram's B2P podcast. It is B2P podcast. And like I said, like, follow, subscribe. New episodes every Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back with another episode of Between Two Posts. Today, our very, very special guest is Matty Villalta, aka Matthew Villalta, aka the Moss Man.
Yes, sir.
Matty, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on today. Should be pretty fun.
Hey, thanks for taking the time. I mean, you're a busy guy living the LA lifestyle. I'm sure you got fish tacos to eat and waves to catch, and it's the middle of summer, right?
Yes, sir. Funny to
Oh.
do out here.
Yeah, I mean that and just sit in traffic, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, especially on it's crazy. A lot different from back home, that's for sure.
Yes, and we will get into that. But my first question for you here, Matty, being Canadian, you guys have what's called the CFL, and I saw the
Yeah.
other day you went to an LA Rams game.
Yeah.
The
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a very big football fan, but I do enjoy going to games and watch. So I'm gonna be on the fence on that one. I'm kind of in the middle. CFL, go to that. Go to Ottawa a few games. Obviously, any chance to get to an NFL game out here, it's pretty sweet, especially at SoFi Stadium. So I think they're both good.
Yeah, you're welcome. We gave you Matthew Stafford or whatever, however you want to phrase that, but gave you a Super Bowl basically from the Detroit Lions. You're welcome.
We'll take it.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about the CFL except I heard that some guys talk about, I think it was the Chicklets guys, like the end zones are like 30 yards long or something, like they're obnoxiously like big. So
They
there's a
might
little,
be.
The goalposts are in the middle of the end zone.
yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Yeah, they got
You get-
some they got something going on. Maddie, do you always go yard?
Do I go yard
Yeah.
baseball?
Yeah.
Not all the time. I like to put it out there on my Instagram that I do, but I've not had to hit a home run. So I'm still work in progress.
Okay. I mean, it takes time. It's development, right? That's what it's all about.
Got to trust the process.
You kind of look like the guy, no offense, that you keep your summer league stats. What are your baseball stats looking like this summer?
I've only played this past summer. I actually joined my buddies. They play in like a men's league type thing. So I only played 3 games, and I think I only had like 1 single. Played a little bit of first base, couple strikeouts, but it was a good time. Real good time.
That's awesome. You got any errors in there?
A couple, yeah, a couple missed catches. It's hard when they bounce. It's like different than catching a buck. It's fun though. It's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize like you could get into like, I mean, I don't see it around here. You see like slow pitch softball for like a lot of beer leagues and stuff, but I've never seen like where you guys have like a full catcher and everything and like fast pitch, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's fun. That's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
Especially you got to get away from the rink sometimes.
100%.
Now I know you're a big four-wheel and you're an outdoorsman, but this takes us back a little bit. Do you think Larry and Tyser should have gotten more credit for Send It than the Nelk boys do?
Well, I don't know. I see him on his snow machines and whatnot, and
Yeah.
I don't know. That fits him pretty well. And yeah, I think for sure he does deserve a little bit more credit, I would say. I mean, he's kind of a front runner in that sense. He just lets it rip and holds it wide open. So I respect that big time.
Is Larry and Tyser good old Canadian boy or is he American?
That's a great question. I actually don't really know.
Yeah.
Gotta be Canadian, right?
I would think so.
He's got the tuxedo.
Yeah.
Have you,
You're
ever,
awkward.
have you ever seen that Ray's Last Ride video?
No.
I think it's on YouTube. It's legit. They say where they're at the beginning of the video, but it's like I think it's somewhere in like way north Alberta, and it's this dude. And they literally put him in goalie gear on a go-kart, and they just have him hit this jump over and over again. And the guy is hammered. He walks into it's in a junkyard. He walks into the junkyard. He's got a bottle of Mad Dog in his hand. He's just blitzed, and they just have this guy in full goalie gear jumping this go-kart over like cars and shopping carts and all this other stuff. It's hilarious. You gotta watch. It's called Ray's Last Ride, I think.
Last ride.
What a beauty.
I'll give that a whirl later. Check her out.
It.
Hey, have you guys seen that the goalie wake surfing? I know Ev sent that video
Yeah.
to me. Sure, everyone's got it sent to them, but just reminded me of like I feel like goalies are so dumb. They just put on their gear and go out and do whatever shouldn't be done in goalie gear.
Maddie, you ever go surfing in your stuff yet?
No, not yet. I don't really plan on it either.
Yeah, the paddle out would be a little tough, eh?
Yeah, would be big time.
Definitely. I know you got to meet the legendary Lightning McQueen a time or two, but I wanted to find out, like, I've seen the story and the history and the downside of like Lightning McQueen kind of when he fell apart and his head got too big. Do you think if he never met the Doc, does he ever, climb his way up again to be a champion like he was?
That's actually a great question. Personally, it's hard to say. Obviously,
Mhm.
he's a pretty legendary car and won a lot of trophies. So I think it was good for him to meet him, because obviously learned a lot of valuable lessons from someone with a lot of wisdom. So I don't know. It's I feel like with him, definitely helped a lot. But if he didn't, I don't know.
Because he picked up that skill from Doc Hudson. Like he learned about drifting and like, riding in the sand. And he took him back to like what we'd call like the pond hockey days. Like you got to get to the grassroots and really like, get back to the soil and be loyal to the soil. And I think, outside of the wisdom and understanding the mental of racing, like he really broke it down and took Lightning McQueen back to where it all began,
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty funny. On my table right now, I got a race car. So that's pretty jokes.
So you are a big McQueen guy then, eh?
Yeah, I do love cars. That's gonna be my theme this year on my helmet.
Oh, no way.
I'm doing Mater and I'm doing Red, the fire truck.
I
He's gonna
love
be
it.
like LAFD theme, so it should be pretty neat.
That's a lot of cool crossover there, bro.
Hey, thank you. Should be cool.
I like that. What's
So
funny is
what's kind of the story behind that? Because I know you had like Fred Flintstone before, and then like SpongeBob, and now going over to Cars, just a big
SpongeBob.
cartoon.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of doing all my favorite cartoons that I enjoyed as a kid, and I just figured it'd just be fun to put them on my mask. And ever since I turned pro, that's just been my theme, just cartoons, and I feel like it keeps it fun for everyone. And even kids are at the game watching, they might see a cartoon they recognize, and who knows, maybe they'll be a goalie one day because of it. But I think for me, it just keeps it fun, and I think it looks pretty cool.
It's funny. It's funny all this getting brought up too, because I was talking to Sky Garver about you a little bit, and he brought up like the cartoons on your mask to ask you about it. So
that's awesome.
Funny, it just naturally came up, but no, that's definitely a cool, pretty or a pretty cool little way to get the design out there.
Yeah, 100%.
I was gonna say too, it's funny that you got to visit Lightning McQueen and all the legends of that, what's it called? Radiator Springs.
Oh.
got to visit the real life Radiator Springs. But with the kids, like I coach, what are they, 12? It's 2011s, 12s, and then some 15s. And my favorite thing, because like it's hard to relate to kids and like get them to understand what you're trying to communicate. I'm like, we got to move quicker. We got to move quicker. And I'm like, who do you know that's fast? And they're like, Lightning McQueen's fast. I'm like, yeah, he is. Ka-chow. We got to move a little bit quicker. You got to get up quicker. You got to push quicker. Like we got to pick up the pace. So now like our go-to little like, our word, your tag word there to like get them snapped in is ka-chow. So that's pretty funny.
That's a good one.
Absolutely. Whatever it takes to get the kids rolling,
Yep. As long as you're having fun, enjoying it, it's all that matters.
That's it. If you could make the sky any other color in the world, Maddie, any other color, no limits here, what would you make it?
Any other color? Well, I must say my favorite color is powder blue. So I mean, kind of it already is blue, but I would maybe make it like I feel like orange for a day would be kind of cool, maybe.
Yeah,
just
a little tint.
Yeah, that'd be kind of wicked.
Yeah, I'd get down with that. Can you please spell necessarily for me?
Necessarily. Wow. N E yes. NEC. Is there two C's? NECESSARY. Necessary.
Necessary, yes. We were looking for necessarily, but I like that.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
Hey,
no.
Ev, when I was looking up his name to like look up a few things, and like I spelled it so far off that like Google didn't even have a recommendation for what I was looking for. And I didn't see
the same
it was
exact thing.
Yeah.
What like nationality is your last name?
It's Italian.
Italian.
Yep.
Villalta.
So my grandpa, he came from Italy, and I guess my grandmother, she came from Poland, or she was born there. So, and then my mom's side is just from Canada. So,
So I guess with that being the case here, Maddie, like on your dad's side, do you guys get into like Nona sauce and Sunday dinner and all that stuff, or what?
when we were younger, we did, when everyone was around. So that was like a big thing. Go over, have dinner. She'd make pasta and all the good stuff. So it was definitely a treat to be able to do that. And luckily, my grandma's still around. So whenever I'm home in the summer, she always offers like, "Oh, what can I cook you? What can I make you?"
Yeah.
It's a treat. It honestly is.
It's always like you go over and they're just shoveling food to you. Oh no, 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 you gotta eat. Oh no, like
Yeah.
grandma, no, we ate before we came out. No, you gotta eat. You look hungry. Maddie, you look like you haven't eaten in a month. You gotta eat.
Yeah. Oh, you're like, then you need to eat some more. Or if
Yeah.
I'm going this summer, I was going out for dinner and I was like, we call her Bopchi.
Okay.
And I was like, Bopchi, we're going out for dinner like in like 30, 40 minutes. And she's like, oh, can I make you a sandwich? Like, I'm like, no, I'm going out for dinner. She still made me a sandwich. So God bless her.
When you're in season, are you like a every meal at the rink kind of guy, or do you know how to make your own food when you need to?
Definitely I'll do breakfast and lunch at the rink. That kind of saves a little bit of cooking, but dinners are always at home. So we enjoy cooking. So it's such fun. Make some good stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say with that kind of background, like pierogi and all that good Polish food and all the Italian, like when you come back from the rink, like do you mix it up in the kitchen or you kind of an order out guy? But it sounds like you know your way around the kitchen, eh?
A little bit. I luckily I got some good roommates too. I live with Akil Thomas and Brett Kemp.
Okay.
No way.
We made some good, few good meals so far. But we always like to mix it up. Do some steaks, chicken, pork chops. It's kind of simple, but it gets the job done.
Is Akil there now?
Yeah, he's in his room actually.
All right, tell him Conan says hi. He grew up in Tampa for a little bit, so that's where I'm out of now, and he probably doesn't remember his roots, but
I'll let him know for sure.
he's an LA boy now. He's big time.
Yeah, he's big time. It's crazy.
Maddie, do you think at the end of Forrest Gump, do you think Jenny deserved getting Forrest Gump and getting him to take her back after all those years and all the heartbreak that she had put him through?
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I watched that movie maybe like 3 years ago, so I'm not very familiar with that ending. But I don't know. He was just a real good, genuine guy. Just really nice. And I don't know what was Jenny. Was Jenny a nice lady?
No, Jenny was a terrible person.
Oh, then no, 100%, no chance.
Yeah, Jenny was the girl that was like she grew up with him, but then she was like, she suffered through all her childhood trauma, and then she was like in and out of his life occasionally, and would just, miraculously pop in, just like when he like, created the smiley face T-shirt. So just kind of one of those things that happened. But yeah, at the end of the day, Jenny really didn't deserve Forrest. So that's at least what I think.
Hey, I agree. He's not a nice lady, then we don't want her.
I like it. Compare your Pee Wee team here to the D5 Mighty Ducks team. Who do you think's winning in that game? What's the final score? And are there going to be any fights?
Pee Wee. Let me try to think. Go back to Pee Wee. How old's Pee Wee? We go like in Canada. It's like Adam or novice, Adam, Bantam. So what age would you say Pee Wee is?
Like 11, 12.
Yeah,
11,
it's like 12 years.
I don't know. Mighty Ducks, they're a pretty good squad.
They had an incredible coach. So when you break it down like front to back, they had some goal scorers. I think Goldberg's kind of a liability in net. On the D side, you could say this or that, but they'll hold their own. They'll hold the blue line.
Yeah. I don't know. Pee Wee had Gabe Villardi plays on the Kings now too.
Oh yeah.
So we were lucky enough. We grew up together. We played hockey like growing up. So he'd be a good player to have, maybe to put a few in past Goldberg, but maybe a tight game. I think it'd be a tight game. Maybe overtime.
Oh,
Nice.
Maybe
Yeah.
Goldberg has a big night.
Hey, you don't want to go to a shootout with them though. They're pretty elite in the shootout.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can keep up with the triple dig.
Yeah. I got to rewatch that movie. I haven't seen that in a while.
when you go to watch it, Maddie, and you go to see the triple deke, it comes in fast, and there's a lot of left to right. So like, in terms of like the way you'd play it, I'm sure Millar would have you shifting a lot, like left to right, really hard, overcommit, and just let him move you around. It's an incredible move. Charlie Conway is he's a cake eater, but man, he knows how to get it done. He puts pucks in the net, right? Like that's his job.
Yeah.
And then,
Exactly.
and then the coach takes down your mom. It's a tough break, but it's the way it goes.
Oh,
Matt, it's safe to say you're probably a country music guy, no?
I get that a lot. Obviously growing up in the country, but ever since I was a kid, it was always like rap music for some reason. I don't know if it was just like my school, went to a small school. We probably had like 75 kids, but on our bus, there was probably 6 of us, and it was always like Eminem and like 50 Cent and that stuff. And it was kind of different, but I got a lot of country boys. They're into country music. So this past summer, I wanted to try and get into it more because a lot of boys play music at the rink and whatnot in country. So I was like, I better get up to speed on it a little bit.
Well, I mean, holy shit, what a curveball there. Cause like I figured, I stalked the Instagram, and thank you for, allowing the request to follow. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
He keeps it tight, he keeps it private. But yeah, like I had a Kiss Mary Kill with Florida Georgia Line, Zach Bryan, and then I was gonna add Zach Brown Band, but obviously now that's shot. I just figured with like, in the nicest way possible. I guess I'm stereotyping here, but between the fish and the four-wheeling and, being outside, I just picked you as a country guy.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's totally fair.
It's 2022, Ev. Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, what a scumbag move for me.
But hey, if you get a playlist, feel free to send her over.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Evan's our big he's our certified country guy. So we had Darcy on last week, and he gets in what does he call it? He called it outlaw country. So like the real stuff, none of the like Florida, Georgia Line, Hollywood.
Not country radio.
Huh?
Not like country radio.
Yeah. So but man, let me think, because that's like going back to what I would have listened to. Oh, who's really bad right now? Oh, okay. So I got a Kiss, Mary, and Kill for you. We'll go with your two, Eminem and 50 Cent, because that's tough. And then we'll do MGK, Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay.
This is tough.
That's some different eras too.
Okay, I'm gonna kill MGK. I don't like it at all. And then probably Mary. Maybe Mary, Eminem, and Kiss 50 Cent. No.
I mean, the worst part was too, I got a bit that I've been trying to work on, but like I don't listen to rap a ton, but I wanted to do something where like you guess who the rapper is by us saying their ad libs. So I got as far as like I got 21 for 21 Savage, and then I had the Let's Go thing from like the Baby, and then I was gonna do a handful more, but I just didn't elaborate on it at all. But man, this would have been like the perfect time for me to break that out. So
maybe next time we'll get her done.
Do you like Maddie, do you like strictly the old stuff, or do you like the new stuff too?
I'm kind of a mixed bag when it comes to it. I have an older cousin that kind of gets me into like the older music. But I'm still kind of exploring all that. But I kind of like more new school, I guess you could call it. Like I listen to like Young Dolph, T Glock, 21, obviously, the Migos, Lil Baby, like those guys. But whenever you hear like a good old old one come on. It's get fired up.
If you,
Did
if you
you,
jump in your, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
I was gonna say, did you get into that Kanye documentary on Netflix at all?
I haven't. No, I haven't checked that out.
Oh, I think you'd like it because it's it kind of goes through like a little older school of rap and hip hop and kind of crosses over with Jay-Z and I don't know, it's definitely something up your alley maybe.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I watched that 50 Cent one. What is it? Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was like, that was a cool movie.
What about when 50 called out Floyd Mayweather?
When do you do that?
It was
Oh, you
back-
haven't seen this
Well,
video is probably one of the best videos on the internet.
this is back. This was for ALS challenge, right?
Oh, the water bucket thing.
Yeah, so like everyone was like doing the water bucket thing, and obviously celebrities are getting called out by other celebs, and whoever called out 50, like obviously he's not dumping a bucket of water on his head, but he said, what did he say? He's like, Floyd Mayweather, I challenge you to like,
It's like read a book or something.
no, it was like, yeah, he was like, read one chapter of a Harry Potter book, and I'll donate 50,000 to the ALS fund or whatever. Obviously,
Yeah.
Floyd never really followed through on that, but yeah, 50 was trying to stir that pot. So,
Remember that video?
um,
That was awesome.
do you have any takes on where not Childish Gambino, Chance the Rapper's at with his career and what's going to be next for him?
Chance the Rapper. He's like one guy I don't really listen to be honest with you.
Yeah, because he's trash now, right?
I don't know.
I need a take, Maddie. Come on.
Chance the Rapper. It just never was a guy that his music kind of I got into, and but hey, I guess be an artist or a rapper or whatever I guess you want to call him. Pretty cool that he made it for a little bit, or I don't know if he's fallen off now, but he must be all right.
Yeah, he kind of blew up, and I saw 2 of his earlier shows back when he had like Acid Rap and 10 Days and stuff. But then he got married, and everyone makes fun of him because after he got married, his music just like tanked. And he had that that Starbucks promotion, or he had like an ad with Starbucks that was on TikTok, and it was like he was making a beat, and the idea was like, like the end user would what do you call it? Stitch or whatever, where like you'd play it along with him, and like somebody would rap or like make a song with his beat, and it's just so bad, and everybody made fun of it that like Starbucks called TikTok and had them remove the video, so like the ad didn't run anymore.
No
So,
way.
yeah, it was pretty brutal. But yeah, like the Kanye West, that was a good one. And then there was the Biggie movie. That one's really, really good too.
Is that
So
on
you guys-
Netflix?
I think so. I'll
Okay.
have to check, but if not, we'll get you a link. We'll get you hooked up.
Perfect.
I got something a little unrelated but somewhat related. Like who's probably the most famous person you've seen when you've been in LA?
Probably last summer. I was lucky enough there's a guy on the Kings, Alex Iafallo, and obviously he's been here a little bit longer, and he's made some friends. And last year I got invited over to a party out on the Strand, and I had no idea who I was talking to. So I got in this conversation with the guy, just kind of talking about whatever, and then
Just shooting the shit.
yeah, and Alex comes up to me like 30 minutes later. He's like, "Do you know who that is?" And I'm like, "No," but this guy looks so familiar. And he's like, "That's Spider-Man." I'm like, "What?" And it was Tobey Maguire.
No.
That's insane. So that was pretty cool. It was sweet.
That's wild. Where was was there someone famous like hosting the party like that we would know, or was it just a shindig, or?
There's just some friends of mine and Alex's, and they were just renting a house down in Hermosa Beach on the beach. So I think throughout their whole friend group, they live in Beverly Hills. So I guess the work that they're in, I guess they know a lot of famous people. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, tag along and run into some cool people like that.
His
That's-
sister played at OSU, that Iafallo guy. So I don't know if he was ever around at all, but I just remember she was on the women's team when I was there. So
No way.
yeah.
That does segue us, thank you, Kyle, into more LA stuff. Like, we kind of hit on a little bit, Maddie, but where you come from in LA is, I think you could call it, safe to say, polar opposites, right?
100%. It's like two different ends of the spectrum. Back home, it's just a bunch of trees. You got the lake, and no one really around, no neighbors. And then you walk outside here, it's all concrete, and your neighbor's like 5 feet next to you. So nuts.
For sure. What was the adjustment like? Because obviously you're an outdoorsman. Scotty told me like you go out, you do a ton of fishing, quads, obviously, like you get outside as much as possible, a lot of hunting. LA, like they like to say they do that and they go like hiking up into like whatever mountains you want to call it, but like when you get to the top of the mountain, you're just breathing in a cloud of smog. Like you don't get that out in Kingston, Ontario. In LA, like you said, you can get out to the water, you can do some fishing and stuff, but like for the most part, LA culture is like, you want to be a movie star or you want to be a TikToker and go viral, right?
Yeah, you run into a lot of those people out here, but yeah, no, it's definitely different, right? Got to find other hobbies, other things that you enjoy to do out here. And last year, I kind of like the more like action sports, like BMXing and whatnot. So I got myself a BMX bike, and some days off, I just do some street riding, just find some curbs or whatever to go jump, and then yeah, I just go fishing out in the water, do a lot of that stuff, and or just hang out with the boys and go to the beach, play volleyball, spike ball, all that good stuff. So definitely different for sure.
You ever get out to Tampa, you and Kyle can have a little one-on-one spike ball deal.
That'd be
No,
pretty.
we don't do one-on-ones. Big
Oh.
team guy.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Kyle and his friends are pretty elite, as I would say. I mean, I don't see too many people play spike ball, but yeah, I would call Kyle and his friends elite. So,
Wow.
Maddie, whatever you're bringing, you got to bring it.
I'll try my best. Let's set it up.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there? I don't think there's too much out this way, unless you're up with the big boys and Kings come out here. But
It'll come.
Oh yeah.
It'll come.
Hey, just keep training, and when you're ready for spike ball, then
Heck yeah.
Maddie, you get into the extreme sports. I think you said it earlier, but you learned how to surf then, or did you know how to surf back in Kingston? How'd that all work?
No, this summer when I moved out, I moved in with Iafalo, so he's big into surfing, and he loves the outdoors too. So we get along real well. And one day he's like, "Hey, you want to go surfing?" And I was like, "Let's do it, 100%." And still a work in progress. I still eat shit all the time, falling over, but can get up a little bit. Maybe I go out, spend an hour and a half on the water. I might get up like 3 or 4 times, but it's a blast. I had no idea how to do it, and I've probably been doing it now a month, I would say it's been, and I love it. So it's real fun.
That's a blast, dude. Do you have your own board? Like, did you get into it? You got your own wetsuit now and everything?
Yeah, wetsuit, board, all that good stuff. So I think the water's supposed to be getting a little more chilly as winter rolls along or comes along. So you got to be prepared.
Absolutely dial it in. I was gonna ask in terms of like the surfing and everything like that. Like you said, like you go out there for an hour. If the set's bad, like you might only be able to, like you said, say you get like 6 or 7 chances and you only get up 3 or 4, like that's pretty much it for the day. I know that can be a little bit tough, but in terms of learning, like did you have any like lessons or were you just figuring it out on the own?
I just was watching Alex, seeing what he's doing, and then we also just watched. He likes watching surfing videos like Kelly Slater and all those guys. So
Man, he really turned LA, huh?
no, he loves it, and so yeah, just try and take some mental notes, and then just go out there and give it a shot. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then try her again.
What an athlete. With the whole surfing thing and like you already kind of being in touch with nature, are you one of those guys yet that like feels like the one with the waves and the water and like Mother Earth? Have you gotten into that vibe yet?
No, I haven't. Close, I don't think. It's nice once you get out past the wave break, but on your way out, it does not feel like I'm one with the ocean. Just waxing. Crazy.
It's a little bit of a battle. I guess the first story that I gotta ask is I heard you had a little bit of I don't know if we want to call it a panic or maybe in a bad spot, but in San Jose. Were you sitting on the bench or were you like Scotty told me you were sitting in the Zam, like you were back where the Zam is because you can't get to the bench in San Jose, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So to set the scene for Kyle and Evan, our boy here, Matty V, he's hanging out, in the Zam doors in San Jose at the AHL rink, and there's a game going on, and I don't know if someone got injured, but somebody's getting pulled. And when you get pulled, the goalie, that happened to be sitting in the Zam doors is Matty V getting ready to go and, hop on the ice and play in a hockey game, right? Well, it's kind of tough to do that when you don't have the mask. But it's one of those things like when you're sitting out there, you just kind of like you forget and you're away from the team and you're not by the locker room because their setup is different. But yeah, just give us a little rundown on how that all shook down for you, Matty.
Well, that was definitely one of my most memorable moments of my hockey career to date. And looking back on it now, I think it's one of the most funny ones too. But so yeah, San Jose, SAP Center, backup goalie. We're sitting in the Zamboni tunnel. And at my first year, our coach, Mike Stothers, at the time, I would do face-offs. So I had clipboard, everything like pen, paper. And obviously going out, you bring your stick, your gloves. I bring my clipboard. And I thought I had my helmet with me. But for some reason, I think I brought it out for the first. Then after the second period or first period, brought it back to the locker room. And at that time, like that game, like everything that could go wrong, like we were getting pumped. Like the first period was like 4 or 5-0. And then I was like, all right, like might have to be getting ready here. And then sure enough, second period, then I ended up having to go in. So when I took my helmet back to the locker room, wherever I had left it last, I'm going out to the ice and I'm like, oh shit, like I got my gloves and my sticks or my stick. Go out to the ice. I see Luke Ikas now I'm on the ice and I'm like, Luke, do you got my helmet? He looks at me. He's like, no. And I'm like, no way. Like, where's my helmet? And then this time, Stutz, Mike Stothers, I don't know if he realized that I didn't have my helmet at this point, but sure enough, time starts ticking and I had to be like four minutes waiting. So we got Jonathan Villa, our other equipment guy. He was running laps around SAP Center because he was in the locker room and we get dressed on the far side and you got to walk all the way around to the ice. And he's sprinting around. So we're waiting there 4 or 5 minutes. I can feel coach now. He's just staring at me. And he was old school. And I was like, I am in shit. I can just feel him staring. And I was like, damn. So Jonathan Villa comes out with my Sault Ste. Marie helmet. So it's all red and white. So,
oh no.
And so he eventually finds my helmet. I guess it was like either like in a cubby hole in the stands or in the room, wherever it was. So I get my helmet switched out and then period ends, head back to the locker room. And then all I hear is, Matty, gotta go see Stutz in his office. And I was like, oh boy. And he ripped me apart. I mean, as he should have, forgetting your helmet and being embarrassed, like obviously embarrassing for the whole team and whatnot. And so that was kind of that whole story, which is pretty nuts. And at the time, got called back into his office probably 2 or 3 more times that week. And then thankfully it all blew over. But yeah, it was pretty wild.
I mean, the tough spot is, and this is obviously not your fault at all, but like when you're getting shelled and coach is down and then it's like 6-0, 7-1, and it's like this game's obviously gone, and then you're trying to get the goalie pulled and just keep the game going, and you're just standing there bucketless, kind of like hanging out, like, oh shit, what do we do now? It's you're in a tough spot, man.
Oh yeah, no, that was crazy, pretty wicked. So now I make sure whenever I'm not starting, I give my helmet to our equipment guys. I'll be like, hey, I'm putting my helmet right here, or I'm just so they know. So
Hey, Luke, you gotta take this for me and just don't put it down anywhere. Like just keep it on your hip, all right?
thankfully, are
Um,
great. So they help out a lot.
yeah, Luke's a beauty. He actually texted me, finally got back to me. He said phone was off yesterday, last day of summer, when I was reaching out to him to get some, dirt on you, but he reached out today. I do want to talk about Matty Millar gave me the heads up. He's like, hey, ask Matty V about, Stothers, your head coach's practices. What were those like?
I remember first year getting in, and our practices, like, they were intense, like high pace, fast. As soon as whistle blows at the board, like you're on the line and you're starting the drill like right away, like no breaks really. And I remember start of the year practice, we're probably running like an hour 10, hour 15, and just coming off summer, like should be in shape, but Mike Souther's practices were like another level. And I remember like the first 3 days, like thinking I'm gonna puke. So many reps, just going balls out on everything. Yeah, face beat red, sucking wind. And yeah, we got through it, but they're definitely pretty wicked. There's a lot of fun, but definitely hard work.
It's character building, right?
100%. I feel like that's always a good thing to go through. So I'm thankful for him and what he did for us. It was good.
With that being said, Matty Millar, what do you have to say about him? Pretty scumbag guy, eh?
No, Matty's a great dude. We got in, I guess, pro together when my first year was his first year, and ever since then, like, I feel like we came very close. We got a great understanding for, each other, and we know what works and what doesn't, and very easy to communicate with, and pretty much on the same page all the time. So he's a pleasure to work with, and it's a lot of fun. I think that's the biggest thing. He keeps it fun every day coming to the rink. So very lucky to have a guy like him, support you and be there for you. So he's a great guy.
For sure. My big thing with Matty Millar is like, I mean, he was in the trenches for a long time, like in the USHL,
Mhm.
uh, with Dubuque and just like, grinding it out, grinding it out, grinding it out. And then, he got the call up with LA system with Ontario. So I've been really, really happy for him. It seems like he's having, a pretty good time there in terms of development and like making sure guys like you, get better and progress. But I think that's the cool part about him and guys like him that are slowly making their way into,
Mhm.
what we're calling pro hockey is they're bringing, like you said, like not that you don't see many goalie coaches that are like Stothers where it's, old school stuff and it's just go, go, go. But like there's a new age coming in and the way the athletes change, the way like you approach your game versus like Quickie does is completely different, right? And I think a big thing on a coach is like, how do you communicate that? And how do I teach this kid now? How can I help take his game and, like you're not rebuilding the wheel, but how do we make him better? So
Yeah.
yeah, he's an absolute beauty. Um,
There.
but I know Evan wanted to ask you a little bit about your vocab.
Vocab. Yeah.
Got Skylar told me to ask you. Shout out Sky Garver, Fort Wayne equipment manager, one of the
Oh
big
yeah.
beauties
Legend.
of hockey, absolute legend. He wanted me to ask you about your vocabulary, specifically the word mossy.
Mossy. Yes, sir. Yeah, so mossy is like, I feel like it's a word that maybe back home some people would know, but I feel like ever since I came out to LA, like no one knows like moss or mossy. So it's just a word I said a lot my first year, and then that kind of just became my nickname and it stuck. So I could say, you can say anything, it's mossy really. I could say say you got a nice car, it's a mossy car. If you're just hanging out on the couch watching TV, you're mossing. Um, it's like a very universal word. Like you got a mossy hat on.
I love it.
That's it basically.
I love it. No,
Has-
I mean it's the best adjective I've ever heard.
Heck
Has
yeah.
that caught on anywhere else? Like, is that a thing? Because has anyone else heard of that?
I don't know. I someone on the weekend, and I think they were from Michigan, and I said the word moss, and he was like, "Moss? No way!" Like, he knew what the word was, and I was like, as if someone knows what moss is, and I was like, "Hey, that's pretty cool. Right on." But I don't know. I feel like I haven't really seen or heard of too many people knowing it.
Another little tidbit Sky told me to ask you about was the spray bottle in Fort Wayne. What's the story behind that?
The spray bottle. That spray bottle's nickname is Moss Sauce. So that's something. I like my gear like wet. So before every practice, I'll spray my gear down like maybe 30 minutes before I go on. So I just honestly just spray everything: pants, helmet, like sweat guard, skates, your cup, knee guards, everything. And
mossy.
So yeah, I don't know. It just kind of makes the gear a little mossier.
So you like your stuff like a little moist.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've seen guys do it with like gloves and blockers. Like, you don't want them to be like crispy, but you're doing, like you said, your neck guard and your cup, and you just like.
Oh, everything: chest protector, skates.
Chest pad I can get behind, because sometimes, like, if your chest pad gets like super dry, it's all crispy and crinkly. I can get behind that. Even your pants too sometimes, but skates, you lost me big. Skate.
I don't know. I just feel like the gear like moves better for me. That's what I feel. So I feel like just dry gear is just like kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I actually got the idea from Jack Campbell when he was here. I saw him spraying down his gear with that, and he used to throw his gear in a sauna to get it all nice and loose, I guess. So I saw that, and I was like, "Hey, Luke, can I get a spray bottle too?" Because I used to just take it to like the shower, just put it in the shower.
Wouldn't the sauna dry out your gear?
It was like a steam one, I think.
The steam room type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't really know how that works, but I guess Soupy liked it.
Yeah, the Kings get everything, Kyle.
Yeah.
Hot room, dry room, hot tub, cold tub, But yeah, Matty, God, you're a unique individual. I think as goalies, Kyle and Evan, we were talking about this earlier. Like we're all a little bit out there. Like we all like to think we're more normal than the next, but the whole wet gear thing, that's mind blowing. Like when you're like, say you're 2-3 months into a set of gloves, like don't you start to get a little, like when you get it wet, like you get a little like slime, like slippery?
That's the worst. That's like horrible. But luckily, Luke, like they disinfect, like sanitize, put them in these machines that kind of like clean them up really good. So, and then just they air them out every day. So every day you come back, it's just like a nice feeling glove, and then you just get a little moss in there, and you're good to go.
Well, also, like, I mean, it's probably fine in out in like California and stuff, but like if you're going up to like a northern trip, like I don't know, Edmonton or somewhere up there, like there's no way you can like want wet gear. Like you're probably already like cold, and like all I'd want is just a nice pair of like dry. Do you do it also when if you're like not starting the game, you'll still wet all your stuff down?
Yeah, we'll still like spray it. Yeah.
And then you just kind of chill there and some moist gear the whole game, just in case you gotta go in.
Mossy gear, Kyle.
Mossy. Sorry.
It's not like super wet. It's just a little damp.
Okay, mossy. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the cold thing, when I was actually in Fort Wayne, in the wintertime there, we wouldn't practice at the game rink. We'd have to go drive like 10 minutes to a practice rink.
Ice house, baby.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And so we go, and obviously you're freezing cold. You're kind of getting dressed like half at the game rink, and then you bring a little bag over and you get the rest of your self dressed at the practice rink. And in those rinks, I remember it was freezing cold. So I would never, I used to wear a sweater underneath my chest protector in those days. And I would not sit down because it was just too cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, good old Fort Wayne.
The tough town of Fort Wayne. What do you know about that club just outside of the War Memorial? Did you ever, maybe pass by there? Anything like that?
I'm gonna be honest. The only places I really went in Fort Wayne was just the rink and just in my house. Like I didn't really travel around too much there. I actually got my first tattoo in Fort Wayne, but little fun fact. But other than that, yeah, I didn't venture too far.
You're a good man for staying out of there.
So time 3.
Yeah. Garver told me one time they had a player that would get kind of lost in there occasionally, so sucks you in.
What,
What was that?
what is is it like a bar? What is it?
It's a club for gentlemen.
Oh, gentleman's club.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a nice, just a proper establishment. So it's Fort Wayne's definitely an interesting area. Me and Kyle were there, 2, 3 years ago for State Wars, and Evan popped by, and we were playing,
Maybe when he was there, who knows?
yeah, a little roller.
A while ago. Yeah.
My buddy was actually do you remember Packy Munson from that season, Matty?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a
100%.
pretty good buddy of mine.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I think he was even at did he ever come to a Kings like development camp or anything like that or no?
No, the only thing I could think where it might have crossed, I'm trying to think if he ended up there. We have another buddy that might have gone to one, and maybe you talked about him or something like that. I don't think he ever ended up at a Kings camp. I know he went to AHL camp with the Wolves the one season, but that's all I can really think of outside of playing in the Cheddar or over in Europe.
Is he still in Europe?
No, he's done. Actually, he's a GM for an NA3 team up in Minnesota, and I've been scouting for him. You got to put some quotations around it, but helping him out a little bit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Nice.
He actually told me to say hi. Him and Timmy Gettinger both.
Tim Gettinger, let's go. Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, you how was your experience up there as far as everything? You like it up there in the Sioux?
I loved it. It was like a very nothing really to do other than outdoor stuff. So and it was a great hockey town. Like people there, they loved their Greyhounds. So definitely playing there every night. That was a treat. A lot of fun. But and then yeah, just out in the city, just fun. A lot of fun things to do outside. So I loved it.
June, oh, look at what Everett's trying to rattle your cage here.
I got that. I had to go see them for training camp. If I could go up to see the old Greyhounds legendary goalie, basically, factory up there, I would. So I don't get that responsibility, unfortunately. But
They don't let Ev across the border.
yeah, that's a no-fly zone for me.
Yeah. What did you? Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry.
Evan, you fire it up.
I was just gonna ask, like, is it did you ever find, I mean, obviously it's just a stereotype or what people think about it sometimes, but was
2022, Evan, come on.
Was it ever tough being a goalie in the Ontario League? Because I feel like there's so many times you look at box scores from like OHL games and it's like you see a lot of 7-8, 6-5, like even I'll always remember the one year me and my buddies wanted to go out to Erie the year Connor McDavid was there.
Yeah.
And, we watched, it was the what is it? The Gretzky Cup is for the Ontario League, right?
Yeah.
I think they were playing Sioux, actually, to be honest with you. And it was a playoff game, and I think the game finished like 9-8, and we were walking out of there like, what the heck is going on? Am I wrong for thinking that, or was that
not at all?
Is that pretty accurate?
Pretty accurate. There's like a lot. Some nights it'd be really high scoring, or it'd be just like tight, like 2-1, 2-0, like games like that. But in my second year, we had Game 7 playoffs, and it was Game 7, Owens Town, and our final score was 9-8 in games of like semifinals, which was nuts.
Which, to be honest with you, that as stupid as it sounds, that's probably why a lot of teams would pull goalies out of the Ontario, because you guys just aren't protected. Like at the end of the day, you're getting shots, you're getting crazy, seeing grade A's a lot, seeing a lot of situations that are testing you, and that's he just got hired in San Jose, but Thomas Spear, we were talking about the one time, a lot of times they'd rather see goalies that, actually get tested rather than the guys sitting
Yeah.
in a college net where they're seeing 15 shots a game that are all from, the half wall or blue line.
Yeah. 100%.
Was that hard mentally to kind of put yourself in like a 9 to 8 game where it still matters, but like what's kind of going through your head at that point? Like, do you feel confident in yourself still, or?
I guess looking back on it, you're kind of like, you always want to stop that next one from going in, but I mean, I guess sometimes pucks just go in, and at that point, you just gotta roll with it. Once you get 6, 7 scored on you, and you see the game going back and forth, both teams are scoring, and it's like, okay, you just gotta, have good self-talk and don't get down on yourself. I don't know. You just gotta, I guess, in that situation, just keep believing. And luckily, we came out on the good side of that game. We won, so that was good. But yeah, definitely, I feel like it probably would be. It was tough. That's for sure.
One might say, like, after a tough game like that, or say you take that loss, instead it could be possibly booty cheeks.
I don't know. I feel like I would just go home and hang out, probably just talk with some of the boys and probably play Xbox, to be honest, take my mind off that one and move on. That's probably how I would approach it after that one.
You just got to kind of eat it, right? And let the leaf go down the river and you move on. But yeah, Luke told me I want to circle back to some vocab, and I forgot to bring this up, but I guess booty cheeks is another word you made famous around the locker room, eh?
Booty cheeks. Cheeks. I don't know. I don't know if I say Akil, do I say that a lot in the room? I don't think I do. No. We got Akil.
Luke's just feeding me lies then, huh?
Hey, maybe on that one. I don't know.
Well, he did give me the sewer jive by, not responding on me all day yesterday because he said, the phone was off last day of summer. So, buddy, there are no summers when you work in equipment. So you got to move on.
Yep.
But yeah, Evan, you got anything else on here?
I wanted to, obviously maybe just talk on a little bit, but obviously Brett Sutter got his 1,000th, I think last year, correct? Or was the year before?
Just last year. Yeah.
Was that a pretty cool thing to see and experience? To see a guy do it. Even there's that Barstool thing that just came out for Nesbitt's 1,000th, that guy that was in Atlanta for all those years. Just a guy do it that way rather than, it's one thing when a guy does it all for one team, all in the show, but see a guy do it across everywhere. That probably was a pretty cool thing to see,
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I feel like he didn't play for a very long time, and I know a few of our vets said they've never played with someone who's played their 1,000th pro game together. So I guess it's a pretty rare thing, and obviously it is someone hitting 1,000 games, but a guy like Brett, great, amazing dude, great leader. He was a great leader for us, and I know it's a pretty cool accomplishment to see that and just be a part of it on that night. Trying to play for trying to get a win for him on that night. So definitely a cool thing for him and his family, and just to be a part of, and all of the boys.
Did you guys get him anything or anything like that?
I think we got him a watch, and what else we get, Sutsy?
We got him a mug, a customized mug.
Mm-hmm.
We got him a watch and
a night out, probably.
Yeah.
Probably the heaviest board of all time.
Yeah, boys were fired up for it big time. But yeah, no, it was cool. Pretty sweet.
That's awesome. I could only imagine how cool it was to be around something like that, and obviously a guy with, that many miles on the tires.
Yep. Oh yeah, he's still going. Pretty cool. Yeah.
So, Maddie, I do want to kick it over and talk more about, your, I think I just got to find it here. Do you have a full custom bike or quad that you got?
Yeah. So my buddies, we built that right from the ground. Well, I guess my buddies did because I was away, but
you just get to come back and ride.
Yep.
Yeah, that thing's sick. did you grow up like riding four-wheelers and stuff? Like, do you race any of that like growing up, or you get any
Um,
into like dirt bikes and stuff like that?
My brother, he's more of like he races on like dirt bikes, I guess. Grew up though, always had a four wheeler on the farm, and it's just something that we did as a family. And obviously on the farm, you need some ATVs around, so get your farm work done. But yeah, just something we grew up doing. And my brother got into racing a couple years ago, and still goes to the track for fun, but he ended up stopping because he got ran over and got his leg snap clean in two. So
Holy,
yeah, it was pretty gnarly, but it's something I enjoy watching. That's like one of my favorite sports to watch is motocross.
that's
So
sweet, man. Yeah, the whole you taking that quad off the jump was like that's a little dicey for me. So that might be beyond like snowmobiles and stuff like that. I used to rip, but the quads and the four wheelers are a little different. Yeah, you did bring up, and I forgot to mention this. You got a twin brother. I mean,
yep.
that's got to be a little fun growing up.
Yeah, it was a blast.
You
Best
guys
friend. Wherever we always went everywhere together. Play pranks on teachers in public school. Kind of mess around with people. So it was a great time. We really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Scotty was telling me you do fishing tournaments through the summer.
Yep. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite hobbies back home. So bass fishing. So usually pretty lucky on my parents' lake. There's a fishing tournament on opening day of bass season. So that's mid-June. And then there's one just up the road on another lake. So this was the first summer where I entered more than one, and didn't win, but certainly was a blast.
That's good, man. You bring any big catches in or what?
Not this year, not in the tournament at least. Luckily, or thankfully, 2 years ago on our lake, my brother and I, we went out and he won with like I think it was 4 pounds and 12 ounces maybe. So I think for
Sick.
our lake, that's a pretty good sized fish. Smaller lake, probably like 2 kilometers long and maybe 1.5 kilometers wide. So it's a pretty good time. So
That's awesome, man. I do want to just give you a stick tap here. You have some incredible setups, Maddie. So like your gear is always just fuego. So
I appreciate that.
thanks for
Gear's
always doing the
mossy.
most. Yeah, it's mossy.
That's Vaughn for you. Best of the best.
Just trying to be. Yeah, you weren't even a Vaughn guy in the O. So I think Scotty had to have gotten you switch converted and showed you the right way when you got to LA, eh?
Yep. Oh yeah. We got her done up. I remember my first set of Vaughns were well, I guess I had Vaughn Visions when I was younger.
Ew, awful.
They had like this slanted, like the outside roll was like on an angle, a weird angle.
Yeah, yeah, and like it was built like a brick.
Oh yeah. So I remember I had those, and then my last year in the Sioux, I got a pair of icebergs.
Oh, that's because you were drafted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they got you the iceberg, so that's sweet. Um, no, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, we love having you all your stuff every year. Like the last set with the top of the Kings logo and stuff with the outline was just unbelievable. So
Thank you. That's a shout out to Luke, the equipment guy. He came up with that one and looked pretty darn good.
do you have any stories about Luke? Any dirt? Spill it here.
Luke. I don't know if I got any like bad stories. We definitely have a lot of fun at the rink. I always love going to his office, hanging out and just shooting the shit with all the equipment guys. And Luke and I actually, he has a blitz ball. Is that what it's called?
Huh?
You ever play at baseball? You know that ball that like kind of like moves crazy. It's like a wiffle ball. Yeah.
Oh, wiffle ball.
Blitz ball is like a spin-off of it. I
Okay.
kind of knew what you were talking about, but it's like the same thing.
So yeah, Luke started a wiffle ball league at the rink. So just with the rain train guys, a few of the guys going for BP, maybe 2 or 3 times after we're all done, and then he's going to be organizing a game here shortly, I think. So that's just something about Luke and what we do for fun at the rink.
That's awesome. Yeah, Luke's a beauty. He's a very salt of the earth kind of guy. So gotta love dealing with him. Just a good dude from Rochester, New York. But
Yes, sir.
Evan, Kyle, you guys got anything else?
I mean, yeah, you just brought up the pads, but those were pretty sick. Yeah, not a ton. I mean, just excited to see where you kind of go, and must be nice. You got a nice spot there, so
Thanks.
hopefully you can enjoy those hobbies of the LA lifestyle. So it's we're excited to follow you where you go.
I appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Maddie, thanks again for hopping on with us. I hope you catch a couple 6 sets before the end of the summer before it starts
Oh,
to get, well, I guess like in LA, like diehards still go when it's like October, November. So
Yeah.
I guess surfing season never really ends, but have a blast, man. If you meet anyone else famous, throw them on your Instagram and we'll try and boost you. I don't like, do you want more followers? Cause like, I know you keep it on private and you keep it pretty like low profile
Yeah.
there. You're kind of hidden.
Yeah, I don't like I used to have that Instagram account and all open and being verified, and that was cool for a bit, but I just I deleted it, got rid of it, and now it's just like for friends and like people I know. So
Well,
most
we won't,
most of know anyone there, I'm not gonna accept.
we won't blow up the spot then. But yeah, dude, enjoy the rest of, I guess what we got training camps in in a week. So enjoy your
Yep.
last week of summer. Have fun, buddy. And we look forward to seeing what happens and best of luck. All right.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for having me. What a treat.
Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you.
Yes, sir.